Welcome to the Office of Undergraduate Research Program Partners meeting. You're all here because in some way you are officially partnering with the office. We like to acknowledge the land that feeds and sustains us. The University of Utah recognizes and respects the enduring relationship that exists between many Indigenous peoples and their traditional homelands. We respect the sovereign relationship between tribes, states, and the federal government and affirm our university's commitment to partner with Native nations and urban Indian communities through research, education, community outreach activities. My name is Dr. Annie Isabel Fukushima. I know many of you. I'm the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Studies, and I run the Office of Undergraduate Research. I'm joined by, and she will introduce herself.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Angie Leva, Academic Program Coordinator here at the Office of Undergraduate Research.
And we're going to just quickly introduce our other members of our team that are here. Shelley.
I'm Shelley Parker. I'm the Events Manager for OUR.
Sarah.
Hello, I'm Sarah Cody, she, her pronouns, and I am the Academic Program Coordinator.
Cindy's not here. Cindy's our Associate Director of the office. You've definitely received a communication from her, and everybody has met her in some form. She runs also the Europe program and other activities for the office, and we also do hire undergraduate research leaders who work with the office as well. And so just as a friendly reminder, you're all here because this is a program partner meeting. We have some official partnership with many of you. We do MOUs with our partners. And if you have an MOU that's pending, it might be because you're applying for funds and you're waiting for an MOU to emerge after you receive funds and all of that fun stuff. But this is an official partnership with all of you, and we want to thank you. The space is to share knowledge and resources, foster academic infrastructure that supports undergraduate research, create visibility for research opportunities and programming. We're going to talk about some of those, as well as support research teams that endeavor to create transformative undergraduate research experiences. And so we want to thank all of our program partners who are here for being here. We can't do this work without you. We do the work with all of you. And so the program partners is all of us. And so we do like to start our program partner meetings with some gratitude. And so the gratitude is the success you are experiencing or have recently experienced. We know we have come from a can you believe it, folks? It's no longer summer. Didn't it feel like just a second ago we were all organizing summer activities? We are now in the thick of the fall and moving onwards and starting to plan out for next summers as well as for ongoing activities this academic year. But we would love to hear from all of you about what are the undergraduate success you'd like to share with this group. Some fun thing. We like to start with a little bit of joy. So we'll go ahead. You can either use a chat feature or you can just simply unmute yourself. So would love to hear from folks, something you'd like to share, good news. I know that Gloria shared a really cool video with us recently. Sorry, Gloria, to put you on the spot.
I just want to say that it's so wonderful to think back about the summer. When we are in the summer, there is not a time to breathe. There is always something to do. So I'm very grateful for Rebecca that put together the video and is going to be there to remind us the rest of the year.
Yeah, this is Dave Simons. Jack Wilson is a two-time UROP recipient, and he got a poster award yesterday at the Diabetes Metabolism Research Center retreat.
Wonderful. Congrats.
And even his mom was in attendance.
Wow. I love that. And just as a reminder, folks, the undergraduate research events that we organize are open to the public. So we love when we see family members there, like of all ages. So that's so wonderful. And then Casey put in the chat, our students are headed to the ABCRMS conference in November. And I hope that's how you say it. And it's not ABSRMS or something like that. It is ABC.
I've heard it all the ways, but yeah, our SURE students are now applying for their abstracts, and they're invited to go to the conference in November in Pittsburgh. And some of them hopefully will get their posters accepted. So they'll also be doing their poster presentations as well. So super exciting.
And Laura Rupert says the SRI accepted 400 new undergraduate students for fall 2024 cohort. On fire. That's amazing. Wonderful. Well, we will look forward to seeing all those applications as they come and take all of our monies and opportunities. That's wonderful.
Donna
Yeah,
from
go
the
ahead,
medical
Donna.
admissions preparatory program. So not specifically from this year's cohort, but from previous years, this impacts this year's admission to School of Medicine. We have accepted 4 previous MAP students in our cycle this year. So that's exciting.
That's wonderful. And Holly Johnson says Adobe Creative Commons at CalArt Village just opened a podcast studio. Wonderful. Thanks for those resources. Holly, we love that. So open for students, faculty, and staff, and they're excited to share the stories.
Let's share one more thing.
Yeah, Gloria's on
This
fire.
this past week and part of the week last week, we have the AIP, and there was a lot of representation and a great footprint from the University of Utah. And many of our NARI this summer students and other summers presented, and it was wonderful. So thank you also to Donna for the support.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
That's so
and
wonderful.
we worked on an article together, so I'll include that article in the chat if any of folks are more interested in learning more.
Well, we know there's lots of things to celebrate and all of that. So we're going to keep moving forward. Thank you so much for sharing. If you think of other things, please do let us know. One thing we do want to flag, though, is an opportunity. Angie sent out the agenda. If there's anything that was not in the agenda that you would like to make sure we pause to talk about, if you can share with us any challenges or things, it doesn't need to be a challenge, but a thing to discuss. So would folks like to go ahead and flag things that not in the agenda that you want to make sure we get time to talk about? Tough crowd, or maybe you all are okay. You are doing amazing. No worries. If things come up, you can always add to the agenda and we can make sure we pause to talk about things. Let's go ahead and keep moving. So this is the agenda. We're going to recap some of the summer activities because actually, as you all know, is that the planning for summer, since it's very intensive, it does begin actually in the fall. And so we are already, we're going to reflect back on what worked, what things we're going to have in the pipeline for some change, and then also some things we'd love to hear from folks to learn more about your perspectives of what could help. And so we're going to focus on summer. But one thing I just want folks to know is that this is all year round. Many of our undergraduate research activities happen year round. And so see this as an opportunity to start thinking about those questions and things that you would like to flag. We're going to offer the timeline, and by we, I mean Angie's going to go over the timeline for the 2025 student recruitment and some other activities. And then we'll talk about Wilkes and OUR updates, as well as the early exploration tours. But just want to make sure that if folks want to add anything that you'd like to check in about your partnerships or what you are doing to share with the group, we'd love to share, have everyone know what's going on with you all or any kind of struggles that you are facing. So we'll just go ahead, and if folks at any point want to add to the agenda, we can go ahead and add it. This is something that is for all of you. Angie, next slide. And so what's going to happen is that we're going to actually invite Angie. Angie, can you just give some of the high notes of how summer went before we go into the education series and all that? So Angie, just go ahead and give some verbal high notes of what really went well. And then Shelley's going to go over some of our education series and other things that we did. And we'll talk about some and invite some feedback. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Fukushima. So OUR, we had definitely a wonderful summer, and we definitely couldn't have done it without the help of many of our program partners. Summer socials was something that went really well. We got a lot of positive feedback from students. And so we'll talk more about it later on, but thank you to all the programs that hosted or co-hosted a social. The attendance was really well. OUR assisting with promotion, I feel like always goes really well. And so we are very excited to continue that type of partnership. Shelley will talk more about the Undergraduate Research Symposium, our education series, and the Graduate School Mini Expo. So we have something to chat if we could discuss. Okay, yes, absolutely. Gloria.
All right, so we're going to add those to the agenda, which is Student Life Center and transportation. And then also and student discounts for summer programs, and then shadowing at clinical observations for clinical observations. That sounds great. Yeah, let's keep going. So Angie, let's invite Shelley into the space. Angie, Shelley, go ahead.
Okay, for our live attendance, the students that attended them while they were happening, we had 527 attendees for the semester, and our on-demand views, we had 665. I've split it up by each session. The research posters, I am just blown away that there were 360 views just during summer semester for that that one workshop. So that was very popular. But they were all very popular. We had really good feedback from them and attendance, and they were watching them afterwards too. So you're very happy about that.
Yeah, so we had, just as a slew, just so folks can see here, Title IX, which was requested by our partners. We did Intro to IRB, crafting effective abstracts. Many of them are doing this for posters and presentations, so we know this is a skill they need, as well as for publications. Data visual, the research posters, as Shelley says, was a hit in the both live and as well as in the on-demand. And we're going to be intro public speaking was really good too, and argument behind statistical analysis. That was recommended by previous summer, so we included that. And then we like to keep the NSF Graduate Research Fellowship, since we know they need to start in their undergraduate years applying for those opportunities. And so made sure that is in there. So this is kind of the slew of the lineup. And so Shelley, overall, it was positive, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then so if you can go to the next slide, let's invite our folks for feedback. Yeah, so the feedback is for this one is we had 471 students who gave feedback, and overall it was positive. And so one of the things we want to invite folks, though, is as we plan out topics, we've already planned out this fall, we're planning out spring, we reach out to folks. The way that the office organizes our education series, which is for students, right? But we know faculty and staff also attend some of our education series, is that it really is intended to be student friendly. It's intended to have that accessibility in mind, and it is learning beyond the classroom. So it is not intended to replace what you should get in a course. So we're not trying to deep dive in what you should take in a course, because you should literally take a course if you need a deep dive in something. That's what educational curriculum's for. Or we also don't want to replace what faculty expertise is. So we try to keep it more at the professional, higher level. One of the things that has come up is there's more interest in content such as coding, so kind of like the basics of coding. And so we're reaching out to College of Engineering, for example, to kind of see if we can get that in the pipeline as well. But what we want to do is, Shelley, Angie, can you go back to the series, the education series with the list of titles, is like knowing that these are the titles that we had for the education series. Would love to know, like, what would folks like, is there anything in here that you're hearing from your students that didn't work, or that you would like to see included? One of the challenges, so we're just going to be really frank, is we have 10 weeks in the summer with the students. This fills every single week. And the more we add, the more it gets filled. And that's a lot of content for students to figure out. And so our goal is always to keep it between 8, no more than 10. 10's too much in our opinion, and so this was pretty jam-packed, and it was because a Title IX was requested, so we did that twice. And so, oh, that's great, Michael. Can you send that as a link to? So Michael suggested that CHPC offers free summer classes on computational topics, including coding with Python. That is great. We should put that in. We should figure out how do we make that more visible, because that's really awesome. So thank you for that. Other suggestions looking at this or general feedback?
I'll
Go ahead.
back off my comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
We definitely appreciated having all these options of great topics, and especially if a student was in the lab and maybe was in the middle of something, you guys are really on it, getting those posted almost immediately, and then we were able to direct them to that link and to that site. And so that's a great idea to supplement and allow for people to still have access to the information.
That's great. Thank you for that positive feedback. Mind's blown, everything great. One thing we did notice though is we offered Title IX twice because that was requested. The second time didn't seem to work for folks. And so it looked like the second one had less, but it didn't have 0 students. So it did seem to work for folks to do Title IX twice there. So, you know, we did that because NSF and NIH grants require their students have some Title IX training. So we invited them in to do this. And so if there's other things that are part of your grant requirements that you're like, this would really help, raise it to the office because we won't know that it's a need that you have if we don't hear from you. And we'll just be like, business as usual. We know they're presenting. We know that they need publication training, professional, and all these things. And so just let us know if there's something that's getting flagged that you have. And also if there's other things we can share out or see if it's already happening, we can find that information too. So Shelley did a great job. And so Shelley edits the videos and get those all online. So thank you, Shelley, for organizing the education series in consort with Angie, who works with the partners to get some feedback. And so please see that we welcome your feedback. And we're doing some one-on-ones with some partners. And so if you feel like you have such a specialized need that you're not sure if this is the platform for it, feel free to schedule with us and we can always talk through some of the some of what your needs are and figure out, because we do have flexibility in our agreements with different partners, since you all just function so differently, have different teams, or are a team of one, right? And so you just work very differently with how you are supporting researchers. So yeah, very awesome. We're just so excited by the level of engagement with the content. So Shelley's going to keep us going into the graduate school mini expo.
Yeah, this year we had 154 attended in person. I've done the different sessions. This year we tried tabling, and we've got a lot of positive feedback with that. But with the space issues, we weren't able to offer as many sessions. So, but I think the students really like the tabling. So the keynote, Dean Butt, a lot of people really enjoyed that. The graduate school application panel, we had public health or School of Medicine, computing, dentistry, humanities, and architecture, and those were well attended. The demystifying grad school and conquering imposter syndrome, we did 2 sessions, but I think we should have only done 1. And I don't know if we should do it again next year. The interviewing skills is always very popular. How to thrive as a grad student panel, that was very popular too. And then personal statements. Those are the interviewing skills and the personal statements. All the students usually really enjoy that. We had 37 students fill out the post mini expo survey, and they ranked the most useful, like I said, the personal statements, interview skills, and then Dean Butt, then the panel, and the demystifying was the last one.
Yeah, so let's open it up for feedback. We worked with the graduate school this year, and in the past, so just so folks know who are newer to the program partners, we used to work with the program partners in organizing all the sessions, and that seemed to be a lot of burden for our partners' time, who were managing so many other things, including mentoring students. And so for this year, we worked with the graduate school who helped organize our panels. The student panel was with the graduate school, but also in partnership with our partners, where we invited them to suggest students, right, that could speak. And so this is how it was organized last year. And so Shelley, some of the things we had talked with Angie that I think that we might think about is, I guess one of the things is folks want more specialized, like applying for STEM, right? Applying for medicine, and applying for all those things. And we had the cluster, and students actually in the feedback found, like, hearing the different ways that graduate school applications work for different programs, they actually found it really useful. And so we could keep this one in and then maybe have breakout sessions. But we also had hoped that the tabling would be a place where folks could actually connect with students, where we had the tabling for multiple sessions just open so students could go in. And so maybe we could market that a little bit more, is where students can get an advance. I think, did we list them all? Shelley, we did, right? All the tabling that was happening?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and the challenge is like that is really based on your offices. Is your office going to send somebody who can table? And so one of the things we're going to do is we're going to expand into another room for the graduate school mini expo for next year. So then that way the tabling can really just have a place and not share the presentation workshop rooms and just be on its own. And so that's just to kind of maybe share some of the conversations we're having of how we are going to improve on this. And so any thoughts?
I have a thought.
Yeah.
Something like for interviewing skills, that was really popular, and I think you could even consider doing breakouts for that, or just small little groups to practice, maybe just like your elevator pitch, or kind of taking your personal statement and some of those ideas and kind of bringing that to the interview skills piece, and then hey, maybe we can practice like just introducing yourself, just very basic things. Just kind of struck me as, they really liked and were responsive to the interviewing skills. And we can consider doing even a little more practice in person.
On the grad school mini expo, we had 37 students, and we just asked them to say what sessions they attended and then which ones were most useful.
So we'll keep thinking with you all, but if there's like desires for like specific things like that are specialized, like STEM focused things, I really invite our NSF REU colleagues to help us think through that, because it will mean then somebody from your colleges may have to participate. And I know the graduate school reached out to reps across, right? And so we could always invite them to maybe encourage reaching out to your specific reps as well. And so at which I'm pretty sure they did. And I think we came up with this because of this is who is available also.
This is Tino Nyawelo from Physics REU. One of the feedback that we got from our student who attended this event last year, this year actually, they think that, yeah, the graduate application panel and all those things are geared toward upper campus. There is nothing related to the lower campus like in STEM. As you could see here, it's about computing, dentistry, humanity. So that is something that they didn't find it useful for them.
So you want a specific STEM one. That's what I'm hearing is the students can only make the link to STEM if it's called STEM, and that's what they would prefer. Yeah, so that's why we've been having conversations is maybe we need a specific STEM one, which we can easily do. Yeah.
We had computing.
Yeah, computing was in
but
there.
I think it was basically who could attend.
Who could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we needed the reps.
School. Yeah.
Yeah, they needed the rep for graduate school to say yes. So yeah, we'll think more on that with them of how do we give the feedback to this graduate school so we can think about how does the outreach to the different campus partners work? Because we also need the people who are in the College of Science and Engineering to also be available to do it. And so maybe we can kind of touch with our NSFRUs if we're noticing that we're not able to pull together a STEM specific one. Like if it's a challenge, like maybe we can lean on you all to kind of help us think through who that could be. But I believe it was like their graduate school reps, and that's who was invited is folks who are helping students in a grad school. Yeah. Oh, and one more idea. That's a great suggestion. So Angie, can you take note of that? Is how to ask for letters of recommendation. That's really great. Yeah. I think that was something we had previously in a previous grad school mini expo, and we can bring that back in. Great. Any other suggestions? So we're gonna have a STEM focused one. We're gonna also have a how to ask for letters of rec. Anything else?
So, hello, Annie.
Hi, Martel. Hi, Dr.
Hey, good to see you.
Teasley.
As you know, Dr. Fukushima, I'm starting the Center for Research on Race, Health Justice, and Public Policy. And as I go around the campus, I get a lot of questions about, what is research on race? So I'd be glad to have my group participate in something, even though I haven't talked to them about it. But I'll certainly volunteer my time to work with students on how structural inequalities, racial, ethnic inequalities work, and how we engage in them in research.
That sounds great. That sounds like a really good education series topic. I think that would be really great. Thank you for volunteering. We love
Okay.
when you vol. We're going to note it publicly recorded that Dr. Teasley said he is doing a session. That's wonderful. Thank you. Well, so graduate school overall was really positive. And we know that this year we provided food on time at a better system, better pizza place and all that. And the system, everything really worked. The breakout rooms for the most part worked. And we're going to make it so we're not going to have as much movement once the rooms are broken into rooms by getting another room and all of that fun stuff that Shelley and Angie are going to work on together. But as you think of more topics, please circle back and let actually Angie know, and Angie can collect the feedback. Or if you want to schedule a meeting to talk through your idea a bit more. And I think that one thing is to keep in mind is that, overall the feedback was positive, and that overall, I think that what we know is that every year we work to make this better and better, and it is getting better and better. So I want to thank the team for the wonderful work that they did to organize this, and we're just working to see what else can we do to make it stronger for our students.
For the symposium, we had 240 presenters, which was a record, more than last year before. We had 95 different institutions represented, and that included, I think, 2 high schools. The U of U students that presented were from 12 colleges, different colleges. Our poster evaluation, we put it in our annual report, and the one we just put out was last year's. So next year we will put the poster evaluation data for our summer symposium. But if you click on that link, you can see what it was for 2023.
And one thing that we do with partners, so if you want to get the data for your specific students, you can in your MOU have that clarified. So then that way we know as we get this data, we can share it with you about your specific student. We're happy to share the feedback about that. No problems there. Otherwise, if it's other people's students, it's aggregated in the annual report.
And one thing we did different this year is we had 3 sessions that were 50 minutes long, and that was because we had so many students. And from what I heard, that worked well. But if you have any feedback, let me know.
No, mine's blown. Any thoughts on the symposium? This one is a poster session only, as folks know. Our spring session is where we have more dynamic oral presentations. Michael, you unmuted. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did want to say that it felt to me like that 1 hour was a bit short, with all the putting up the posters and taking them down. But I understand, of course, that there's space restrictions. And so if we have a way of going back to 2, I think it will make it better, at least in my view, just to give people more time to present their posters and, the poster evaluators to see more posters. But if that's not possible, of course, I understand. The other thing that I noticed was that, at least for our group, in the past, we've always been in the big room upstairs with a bunch of other disciplines mixed in. And I think this time we had a chemistry room essentially to ourselves, which was an advantage in order to find, in terms of finding the chemistry posters. But I think it also kind of limited a little bit the exposure. And of course, that also could be because of room restrictions. I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
So maybe one thing we can just share with you all, the reason why we spread it out so differently was because when we had it all crammed into 2 sessions, hour and a half, students literally looked like they were going to die of heat exhaustion. Do you remember that was the previous year? The room got way hot because the alumni house, we can't control the temperatures of that big room. It literally just soaks up all the heat. And that room soaked up all the heat, and it was just so hot. Students were like, trying to go out, like literally, I don't know if folks remember that. And so that's why we really spaced it out this time, because all the congestion of so many people, because these are just the presenters. This doesn't include the family, friends, and faculty and administrators that come to hear them, is that it just, so that's why we did that. But in order to make it longer, or I guess, because what I'm hearing, Michael, is you're saying you want less sessions, longer, we would literally need different space. Is that right, Shelley?
Yes. In the summer, space in the summer is a problem.
Yeah. Like we would have to be able to get the ballroom And I don't know if we actually are able to get the ballroom
Yeah,
in the
we're
summer.
not. They do all the summer camps, all the summer programs.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think literally Alumni House is the biggest space. It is the biggest space on campus right now. Yeah.
I thought that, what about the union? Is union smaller than that?
Union is not available. So that's what Shelley said. It's not available.
In the summer, they reserve
Yeah.
it for all the summer camps. So there's nothing available.
So alumni is the biggest. But if folks have other ideas, we're all ears. So feel free to let us know if there's another space that we're not aware of that you would suggest that we could possibly look into. We will look into it. We're happy to look into other alternative options.
Must it be on on campus?
Yes, it has to be on campus. Yeah.
Could we make it longer? If we added 1 more hour, then we could make longer sessions. So
we could do that.
I know people want it to end by noon, but if they know ahead of time, they won't schedule wrap-up parties or whatever.
Yeah.
I have a comment. This
Yeah.
is Walita from NARI. Longer won't work for our programs because we have closing ceremonies toward the end of the day.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm volunteering this too soon, but the Williams building has quite a bit of space, and that's where our offices are located. There's a few rooms for sessions, and then there's another area, but I guess that gets pretty hot too.
Yeah.
But it's an option if someone wants to come look at it.
Yeah, maybe, Walida, would it be okay if you coordinate with Shelley and Angie, a site visit or something, or let them know where who they can contact?
Yeah, for sure.
That would be awesome. Yeah, then they can kind of do a little bit of space assessment because we're trying to, like with the numbers, we're projecting we're probably going to have even more presenters next summer. And so if we're like about 130 to 50 presenters in a room with the big boards.
I would love to add to that. This is Casey from the Root team. From our perspective, this summer's symposium went extremely smooth. It was lovely. From our perspective, I loved having less students present at that amount of time. I know we hold a session for our students about like to prep them for that day and what it means to present. And one of our line items was always to like be aware that the room gets really warm because in years past we've experienced that. We've been a part of that. And so it was really lovely this year, and I loved having a little bit more space in between the aisles of the poster. And I also loved, this is the first year we have a smaller cohort of 12, but I loved having all of my 12 students present at the same time. It felt really cohesive. It went really smooth. I think a lot of our students felt really comfortable being by other Root students, and it was really great for them. They were able to like talk to each other, and it helped get a lot of the nerves out of the way. So from our perspective, we loved that. We loved having the bigger aisles and spread out, but I can definitely see how being in some of those smaller rooms could affect maybe attendance and traffic. So I completely understand, but just from our perspective and what we experienced this summer, it was amazing, so smooth, nothing but great feedback from us.
Thank you all for the positive feedback. And thank you, Gloria, for your positive support too, feedback. I wonder to hear Michael's feedback though, is I wonder if we might extend it. So instead of it being 50 minutes is our presentations, and we do 15 minutes set up in between, and then that'll give the students an hour at least. So it's not 50 minutes, but a full hour presentation, just to, because what I'm hearing it, Michael, is just wants a little bit more time. And I think, would that be okay? Then actually, then the symposium could go to 12:30, Shelley. What do you think?
I mean, if we did that, we'd need to add more time. But.
Yeah, but not a horrid amount of time where it's like Walita's concern, which is they've got other stuff. So it wouldn't, you could still break for lunch at 12:30. Yeah. Okay. We'll look at the time. We'll try to tweak it. So we're still finessing this, but it's amazing. I think it was wonderful. Thought the team did a great job. The students did a great job. They were so excited. They look so gorgeous, all dressed up for their presentations.
I do have one short comment, if that's okay. This is Monica from Huntsman Cancer.
Yeah.
Overall, the posters symposium was amazing. So I echo what everybody else said. And my only comment, and it's kind of, I don't know if there's a way in when they register, I know that the students can select what session they want to be a part of, but which I love that option. But all of my students this summer all went at the same time, which in theory sounds great, but for me, I couldn't get to all of them. So I missed like half of the students. And so in the future, I'm wondering if like us as program managers can have a say also on what time. I don't know that I know that causes more work, but or even to have the students like in when they're registering. I don't know. That was I don't want to make things more complicated, but that was really hard for us. We also have I also like love the idea of them kind of supporting one another. And so last summer it was funny because half of the students went first and the other half went second. And so it was a requirement for them to stay and support their colleagues and go to their poster after they had gone to theirs. And so that was a really good way of showing support, right? And sticking around for the rest of the students. And so that really worked for us. But again, thank you so much. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, maybe one thing, because actually I know that when your students register, I know Angie does send the information to partners that your students registered. Angie, does it include which session they registered for? Because we don't know it at that point, do we?
Yeah, I don't.
We're still trying to organize because it literally is like a checkerboard.
But we do send a follow-up email that does say when their students are presenting.
Okay. So yeah, Angie does send a follow-up. And so maybe, is there time when they get that email for them to provide any final requests?
It'd probably be best to know it ahead of time. I know one year the students picked different times.
Yeah.
The students in one program. So that may have been why those were separated. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, we try to go on the
that would be
student
the only
choice, right?
reason. Yeah.
Yeah, we do the student's
based on their
preference.
schedule.
Yeah. So Monica, maybe you might want to tell your students to choose different, like, or you might want to assign them, say you choose this one, you choose a different time. I know, Angie, we don't sit there and have we don't sit with our students when they're registering. We just say, go at it, right?
Yeah, we do not assist them with registration.
Yeah. So you might want to, Monica, like, if there's language we can help you with or give you some consultation on that, maybe we can take this offline to kind of help think through that a little bit more. Yeah. Great. All right.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Let's keep going.
Yeah, well, in the interest of time, this was from Summer 2023 Symposium, Student Learning Outcomes. This appears in our final report. So if you are interested in seeing from last year, Summer 2023, you can follow that link in the previous slide and view them. And then just as a reminder for Summer 2024, that will appear in our next OUR annual report. And so I talked on it briefly, but this summer we had 5 socials with a total of 376 students in attendance. So thank you again to everybody that co-hosted a social, very well attended. Some of the activities we had were pizza, volleyball, making liquid nitrogen ice cream, which thank you, Root. I heard that was very popular and a lot of the students really loved those more sort of like interactive activities. But many students shared with us that the summer socials were their favorite part of the summer. And then if we asked them for suggestions of what we should do next year, and many of them were saying, please continue with the summer socials. So on that note, was there anything that specifically went well? Anything we can do better? OUR does support programs that co-host or host a social, with food, as well as we do help with the promotional aspect. So we'd love to hear any feedback on that.
And maybe Angie, for the sake of time, just email us your feedback.
Yes.
We'll just kind of keep going.
For 2025 timeline, just as a reminder, faculty mentor applications are currently open right now. The deadline to apply is October 4th. Application, the link as well as we did host an info session couple of weeks back. So if any faculty are interested in applying, if you have any questions, highly recommend you check out that info session video, as well as the link to the application is there as well. So it's all in one place. And as a reminder, the selection process is a 2-part review. So it is first part OUR committee does review applications with the Research Advisory Council making final determinations. And so if you do have questions on the program or the application, like I said, our website is the best place to get that information. And then our student application cycle, we will be opening that November 1st. And the deadline to apply is January 26, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. And if any students are interested, have questions about SPUR, we are this year, as part of our education series on November 6th, we will be hosting a student info session. So if students have interest, want to know what it's about, kind of the requirements, please encourage them to attend our info session, and the link to register is here, as well as you can always find it on our OUR website in our events calendar.
And if you all are doing info sessions or something like that that you want us to promote, let us know. We're happy to share that out.
And so tentatively, this is our SPUR 2025 timeline, which SPUR will tentatively run from May 19th to August 1st, 2025. We'll host our mentor orientation tentatively February 6th, so early February, with student orientation and the student opening luncheon happening tentatively same day, May 20th. Talking on Mini Expo, we don't have a date yet, but that will be forthcoming. We will definitely communicate with everybody when we have more information on that. But just so you can all have it on your calendars and so you're aware, Summer Symposium 2025 will happen July 31st.
But before, really quick, before Tino, the one thing that we did talk about is that we know that the mentor orientation for OUR mentors comes a little too early for our partners. So what we are working on, and we don't have a date for it, but we can work in consort with all of you, is as part of our education series, doing a mentor session that will be a mentoring practice. And then we can then break your teams out into your partner sessions. We can break you out into groups. And so then that would mirror some of the previous mentor orientations that used to happen in the past. And that will be part of our education series. And we're looking at the first or second week of May. By the third week, it is too busy. We're not able to add any additional programming to our schedule. And so that's just to kind of give folks let you know about something we're working on. But Tino, go ahead.
You already answered my question, so.
Yeah. I knew what was coming. I was like, yeah, we didn't put this in the slide. It's okay. And it's not there because we don't have it yet solidified. The team's still kind of figuring out that what would the topic be? It would be more of a mentor development kind of topic. And then it would be a short, since our education series tends to be an hour long, we would make this presentation about 30 minutes. And I know in the past, I think for the mentor orientation, the keynote used to go up to I think 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And we're going to really make it a lot more efficient. And I think actually our colleagues who are mentoring will appreciate that, since they probably don't want to be in a 2-hour Zoom room together. So we'll keep that short.
Moving along, summer 2025 recruitment. So just as a reminder, the SPUR student application does include links to program partner websites where students can learn more and apply directly to other programs that they may be interested in. And so if any program would like to receive student application packets, we did a pilot of this last year. And so we definitely want to get more feedback on kind of timelines and how we can do this more efficiently. But if you are interested in having, again, your program included in the SPUR student application, where students can say, if they are not selected for SPUR, they would also be interested in other programs and you would like to receive those packets, please just know that we are thinking right now tentatively for OUR to share those packets with programs the first week of February. However, it would be on the condition that these programs are not allowed to reach out to these students until given permission by OUR.
But one thing we could do, because what we do in this is the student express interest, right? Is we can tell them, so Angie, maybe this is something we can tweak, is that we can, because you'll have those emails, is you can invite the students and the link to the program partner is currently on our application, right? So when the students see the programs, they link out and they see your program applications. But what we can do is let them know directly, send a post, at some point before deadlines, a reminder that they are welcome to apply to other programs. And here's the link that they've expressed an interest. What do you think, Angie?
Yeah, we can definitely do something like that.
Usually, yeah. How many applications did you guys receive in a year for SPUR?
So last year we received 650.
Yeah, Angie did a really good job of targeting AAU institutions and reaching out to research offices with other AAU institutions and letting them know about our summer programs and inviting and sending social assets and stuff and communications and letting them know to communicate out to their students the opportunities. We invited them that if they shared our information and if they had summer activities that our students could apply for, we would share it out on our socials, and that's what we did. So I think it was like a really nice, mutually beneficial opportunity. I want to make sure, Angie, I'm a little bit mindful of the Gloria Slatham's her comments, and I just want to make sure we get to that. So Gloria, did you want to say a little bit more about that? No, she left. Okay, we'll keep going.
But yes, with all of these timelines in mind, if you do have suggestions or, challenges you're experiencing, things you would kind of like to work through, that if OUR can assist, we're more than happy to help in any way we can. And so if you are interested in that, please send us an email, and Dr. Fukushima and I would be more than happy to meet with you.
And then that kind of gets at the Wilkes, which Wilkes is an example of where we've officially partnered with another office where they are their own center. We're not trying to take their money, take them and who they are. They are the Wilkes Scholar Program, right? As you all are familiar. And one of the things that we do now, though, is we work with them to onboard, hire their students. So we provide logistical support on the back end, incorporate their students into Europe, for example, into Europe orientation. So their students are treated like Europe scholars. But generally, the faculty and the recruitment really happens with Wilkes, and the student selection happens with Wilkes. And so that's something that's been super exciting to partner with them to support their students. So students can be actually considered for multiple programs at the same time. So now when Wilkes scholar interested people apply for Wilkes, they are also considered for Europe with priority given to Wilkes because Wilkes has more money. And then if the student doesn't get a Wilkes, then they are continued on in contention for Europe. And so we've embedded that partnership, the application process. 32 students were accepted as fall Wilkes scholars, and the next deadline is November 1st. And so very quickly, early exploration research tours, Sarah, just very quickly.
Yeah, so we have early exploration research tours. These are open to all of our undergraduate researchers or all of our undergraduate students who are interested in research. It is on our website. We would love for all of our students to participate. This will go to multiple different research locations that include social work, geology, robotics, a bunch of different opportunities, Huntsman with Monica. So yeah, if you're interested in providing a tour, you have someone who is doing some research in a lab in your area. We are also trying to find some research facilities for our spring, so please also contact me.
And that might be a great way to really plug for students the opportunities with your program. And so we really do encourage it. It makes it less abstract, right? And all of that. And so while we do have the database where you all can post opportunities and all that, I think this in-person touch really helps students to kind of think about how cool this person is doing this thing. And then they get to meet a professor and the professor's real. So yeah, so thank you for that, Angie and Sarah for going over that. And Angie, is there anything else? Was this pretty much the end of our slide deck? And so closing out reporting is that we remind you is that as part of many of your MOUs is to share just basic numbers. We don't ask for concrete data, but if you could just submit some basic reporting that you might have about what you experienced this summer, what you were doing in partnership. And if we would love to just kind of continue to know what our partners are doing. And also then that way we can, if we have your permissions, we can have conversations about sharing that out. And this helps us to be informed about what our other partners are doing, what's going well. If you have official reporting that you can share with us, we'd love to receive that. We don't want you to do more work. So as simple as you need to make it. And so it helps us to keep informed what's happening across campus with our partners. And we know that some of our partners are merging. So you may not right now have students because you're still recruiting, or you may not have a ton of students. And so we totally understand that as well. And so I just want to thank you all. I want to thank Angie for her leadership, as well as Shelley And it looks like there's some, just a reminder, you'll be receiving communications from Angie about our next partner meeting on January 14th. Please watch out for her communications. Any email from Angie is a lovely, important one. And if you have other folks that you know would be interested in being a partner, we want to partner with our campus community to support undergraduate research across. And so please do reach out. We're here to support your efforts. And if you have ideas that is not what we've been doing, that is something totally new, we love kind of going down a new direction with our partners. We also like just kind of promoting it. So we don't need to be involved in everything. And so if you're doing something that's super cool, want us to tell folks about it, please let us know. So thank you, everybody. And thank you to the OUR team for all of your leadership. Rest of the best of your day, and staying a minute over.